2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra, info in the description. What's up, YouTube? So, the brain and pH. The body itself is mostly moisture, so the brain is mostly moisture. Everything has a pH. The brain has a pH. When the brain, first of all, pH in general, 7 is neutral. When it gets more acidic, you're developing worms. When you're getting more alkaline, you're developing fungus like candida and stuff like that. All of that is expanding. So when there's blood in the brain, that means there's heat in the brain, and that means parasites can't live there as much as they would. And if your blood is clean, then parasites definitely can't live there as much. So, because the body heats up to burn things off, to kill off the parasites, to rid them of the system, to burn off anything that's dead or old or killing you, the body heats up. The blood is the source of heat, of all light. A blanket doesn't make you warm. A blanket traps the warmth of the blood, because the blood is the light. It is liquid consciousness. It is liquid self, basically. So the brain, when the brain doesn't have that liquid self in it, or it's lacking in an area of the brain or whatever, because you ate a food or you worked out or you inhale vapors or smoke, because when you work out, you're sending blood to your tissues. When you work out, you get a swelling, right? Inflammation. Just like if you inhale something, you get inflammation in your lungs. It creates a mucus, and anything that creates mucus creates inflammation. So the lungs inflame. They swell up. Swelling is a sign of a disease, dis-ease, sign of lack, feeling like like something's not perfect, so you need to go. You have to go work out. That's really what it is. Something's in you that you don't like, so you're working it out. It's an exorcism, exercising. So you're heating up it's a self-induced fever to burn off the bad thoughts, the parasites, all that, when you could just do breath work. But, people like to do things that, are fueling their idea of themselves. And if you're trying to be who you think you are, it's just exhausting instead of just being. But let me digress into this blood and brain thing. So when there is blood in the brain and not scattered throughout the system, in the lungs trying to heal the swelling there, and the liver and the pancreas trying to, because again, your stomach is the size of your fist. Anytime you eat more than the size of your fist, you're swelling in general. You're expanding the size of the stomach. Everything suffers from that, because again, it's an orchestra. They're organs. They're working in a oneness. It's the universe. It's music. You are music personified. So when the blood isn't filling the brain, the pineal is open for parasites. So if you're going to sleep with blood in your, you smoke, and then you go to sleep, then the blood's in your lungs and not in your brain, and you ate too when you ate late, so then there's blood in the intestines, so then it's just not a concise effort to evolve every breath. So when you have less blood in your brain, your posture will begin to break down, or you'll want to lay down. So when there's less blood in the brain, then once the posture breaks again, everything else breaks down. You can't trust your thoughts the same if your posture is not in the same in alignment, because creation is alignment. So that's it, really. The body has to be in alignment, spinal alignment. That's why you get the 33 vertebrae and the Masonic 33 and all that, and the Christ consciousness 33 and all that type of stuff. And King in Mandarin, the symbol looks like a 3 and a 3 backwards. Like so many things, the 3 and the 3. It's obvious that it's alignment. It's just alignment with the source. The source is the truest you. So anyway, let me digress a little bit more. Again, smoke dehydrates the system and the brain, and most of these acidic foods, because even the plants, it's all cultivars at this point. They're not real. So you have to complete their genetics for them, and that takes from you to do so. Anything that creates mucus, even the fructose, is all creating mucus, man. Coconut water is probably the best sweet thing on earth, honestly. It really is no point of even having another sugar, because that one's unnecessary. And it's the closest thing to breast milk, so you can go that way, and in green juices and stuff like that. But it really is. Anything else is pretty much creating mucus. Anything that creates mucus is creating inflammation. So that's breeding grounds for parasites. you have swelling in your brain, inflammation in your brain from smoke or eating acidic foods, all that type of stuff, you're going to create parasites in the system. And they just travel through the blood and they lay eggs in the system. One parasite can lay millions. So one day can change everything. So, because tapeworm is like 1 million a day, something like that. So, any inflamed area in the body causes a blockage. So, basically, to start this thing, say the first human being, the breath got shallow, then the body got dehydrated, then the bad thoughts cannot penetrate. When homeostasis is lost, the steering wheel is more open. So, it's that the body is the steering wheel. So, when you smoke and eat, or you eat and sleep, you're not doing either one of them fully, and that changes the pressure in the entire system. So, if you're doing one thing at a time, one element at a time, like nature in perfection shows you that it's a chain of elements that you respect, so that when you get to the next one, you can appreciate that one, and then get to the next one, and then for the continuity of them all, you not to keep them separate because they're always together, but to put them in their proper places, so that for respect and perspective. Because if everything is just anything, then then you don't have. There's no perspective. It's just shattered glass, basically. So, when inflammation happens, there's a tension or clenching in the body. So this usually in the intestines, and you see when people, up here when they get the grooves in their forehead, that's all intestines. So that's the body holding on to identification with a trauma, and that's the parasites repeating the thoughts you have about the trauma. So they keep you clenching and not breathing, and keep you emotionally hungry so you can stay physically hungry and so you can keep feeding them. Babies breathe right. If you study a baby and you see they breathe from their diaphragm, from the belly, they expand from the belly. Even a quick breath is more so from here than up here. This is shallow and afraid. If you're breathing from here, you're just living in fear. So it's like, it's obvious. It's the thing about being a healer. When you meet people, you just like, man, like, I see exactly what's going on here. But people are so caught up in pride and shame as if they're separate or something. Shame is just reverse pride. But anyway, once the cells are relaxed, the body can release. So then, only way to really release like that is parasympathetic breath work. Because then you're slowing the heart rate down, you're relaxing every cell in the system, and it's just following the brain. Is from I guess you could say top down in that sense. Because this is the seed that creates more seeds. Because this is the brain and spine is the sperm that came out of your father, and your body is the egg. So this is the light that creates more lights. So you're starting from here. It's always in here. People say health starts in the gut or whatever. It starts in here. It's conditioning. It's acceptance of classism. Things like that. Things that are departures from the Tao, the integral way. So anything that's not harmonious, oneness, and virtuosity without hurting yourself is not your natural thought. So you have to start from here. Anyway, you are the consciousness. The body is the resting place. Consciousness doesn't sleep. It goes to the darkest place to bring forth light. Because again, consciousness is the darkness basically that you see when you close your eyes. And the light is the body that you're observing and what's in the body. And light is projected darkness. So you can say light is projected consciousness, or that the body is the subconscious or whatever, or consciousness in slow motion, whatever, or the soul in slow motion, whatever. If you're cleared, your dreams are at the depths of your body. So then, the darker the movie theater, the clearer the picture. And then you can activate REM consciously instead of passing out. Everybody's just passing out. So that the body isn't snatched. There has to be enough blood in the system to consciously dream, though. The parasites is trying to mine your blood all the time. Every thought that goes to anger or whatever, it changes your entire chemistry, and it's all about energy. Inside and outside. Colonialism, internally and outside. Parasites live in colonies. So, you eat the food to keep the parasites off your blood, but that only feeds them. It only makes their numbers grow. But if you just realize that you can veto any auditory thought, because you're not the thinker, the body is, by realizing your truest identity, look at the 11 laws. Look at the 11 laws of Amen-Ra. That's a nice framework for your truest identity. So you're observing the body thinking. And when it's clear of obstructions, you feel the other parasites from other people trying to jump through yours. Because again, the worm is just a body. So any parasite can come through that parasite. You know, it's always a queen parasite that's, you know, controlling the rest. So you might find yourself catering to a person's emotions against your ultimate will. This is like eating food to keep sites off your blood. It's the same thing. It's more so about acceptance, man, and being as virtuous as possible without hurting yourself. So acceptance is the way to the way. You know, accept the breath, study it, study your breath all day, and just focus. Just focus on your thoughts from breath to breath. And like, man, this is not naturally how I should be thinking. This is keeping my body in disease because it's in the back of my mind. Like, whether it's not in the forefront, that means part of my body is still getting that signal and them cells and those thoughts. So I have to totally retrain the government of the cells. And that's really about it, man. Let's see what else we got here. That's really about it. 2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra, info in the description. I'm sure there's other things I could have said, but just wanted to get this out real fast. Again, I do consultations. I'm fasting. It's my lifestyle, but you can come to fast with me however you want. It's $100 a day. Or you can just get the PDFs. You get all 37 of them with 2 audiobooks for $100. Consultation is $50 per half hour. You should never have to talk to me again after that. What else? Oh yeah, I can make herbal packages for you if you send me your symptoms. And I'm on all social media. So that's really about it. I guess hit me. Let me know what you think. Doesn't really matter. Enjoy the rest of your day.